of the House and 2 of the Senate. I chaired the commission, but we also brought in individuals from the Department of Education. We gave the superintendent an appointee, economic development, the labor department. We had the university system, the technical college system. We had 12 members of this commission, and we traveled the state. And what we wanted to do is go sit down with those technology leaders and businesses, small and large, in the state and say, you tell us, what is the state doing right? What are we doing wrong? What do we need to do? What do we need to quit doing? Now, one consistent thing across, and I had ideas of what I thought we may hear, but we didn't plan any ideas. We would have panels. For instance, one of the panels that we had was executive from Cisco, Microsoft, Hewlett-Packard, and Intel Corporation. For the major leaders, all of them have a heavy, a large footprint here in this state and hire a lot of people. We found out in these meetings that there were between 5,000 and 10,000 high-tech jobs in this state that were unfilled with an average pay of $65,000 each. And 70% of those jobs did not require a college degree, just some type of industry certification. Now I'll tell you this, in industry certification that you can get from Microsoft or Cisco is what the industry said, we trust that more than we trust a high school diploma, because this tells us, because of great inflation and other things throughout the state, and I'm not writing the mail, I'm just delivering what we were told, okay? They said we can't trust that high school diploma because a diploma from South Georgia means something totally different than it does from North Georgia. But in industry certification, we know that they have the logical thinking skills, the math skills to do this job. Well, I submit to you, if you take 5,000 19-year-olds, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, you put $65,000 in their pocket, every car dealer in this state would love you. All right? They're going to regenerate that money. Well, why aren't we filling those jobs? So I started asking a question from every panel. We had this panel of high tech. We had defense contractors. We had telecommunications companies. Every sector that technology touched throughout the state, we had 12 meetings around the state, and I asked this question: if there was only one thing the legislature could do, what would you want us to do? Now, I expected an elimination of the corporate income tax. I expected some angel investor tax credits. In almost every panel, I was trying to think of the one that didn't say this. I can only think of one that was the number 2 thing. But all the rest of them said, voucher system, let the money follow the child. Now that surprised me. These are some of the Fortune 500 companies in the nation that are saying, let the money follow the child. And I'm just telling you what they're telling me. And I asked them why. And they said, because we want to be able to seed our own workforce, and we can't do it right now in the public education system. Cisco Corporation is investing money in a charter school system in Gwinnett County that is phenomenal. So what they're saying is, if the school system is going to produce the workforce that we need, then we need the ability to start harvesting our own workforce, start building it. One of the problems in our appointee from the Department of Education, we had one of our meetings here at the Telus Science Museum. We sat around in a closed door session after the meeting, and I asked her, I said, I went around the table, I said, what have you guys learned? And we got to the Department of Education. She said, I've learned a very valuable lesson. At the Department of Education, we're swimming in a sea of bureaucracy, and we're drowning, and it's killing our kids. The greatest illustration that was brought to us is Bill Gates, the founder and CEO of Microsoft, can teach computer science at any of our colleges, universities, technical schools. He can teach computer science at Excel Christian Academy, Unity. He can teach computer science at Chattahoochee Technical College, at Georgia Highlands College, but he's not allowed to teach computer science at Cartersville High School or Adairsville High School because he doesn't have a certificate. These are some type of the bureaucratic challenges that we're looking at, and why the industry is saying we've got to do something different. The charter schools is that, it's not a fix-all, but it is one of those things that are different that the industry is looking at and saying, guys, we've got to do something different. And so that's some of the catalysts that we're looking at. Again, this is what the employers out there are telling us that they're saying. I mean, we were fortunate we had the Department of Education there, and I think the new school superintendent, he's got an open door policy. He and I talk weekly, especially about these issues, and he wants to do a lot of things, but there is a lot of bureaucracy. We have a system that, and by his own admission from talking to him, is we have a system that is focused on the system, not on the job. And we've got to change all that. So.
Well, my biggest concern about this is that I don't understand why we're trying to get two school systems going in the state of Georgia, that if our public schools are so bad, why don't we clean them up? Because I feel like what is going to happen here is the people with money, the people that have smart children, you're going to segregate. It's going to be segregated as far as their, how smart they are, what color they are. I just feel like it's going to just take us back.
The largest supporters of the charter school system, and I think Richard can verify this, when we had School Choice Day, 60% of those that showed up were minorities. That is the greatest benefactor.
If you're going to give them a voucher, does that mean you're going to give, if this person makes $1 million and this person makes $30,000 a year, is it going to be the same that this person's child can go anywhere that they want to and this person's child can't? Or are you going to say, like, I think it was when, was it Bill Clinton that was wanting to do the voucher thing? Or was it interstate or was it all over? But anyway, the thing about the voucher thing was that the only way you could go to a different school was if you were in a, your income level was way down. So these people had a choice to get out of this poverty level and go to a private school. But I would not be able to send my kids to the private school because we made too much money.
Well, right now, if a child transfers from one school within this district to another, that money follows them regardless of how much money that the parent makes. Well, right now, every child is getting.
It started with the Ivy School in Atlanta, which is all black. And it's like I told Christian, I said, what if we wanted to start an all-white school and it's a charter school? Are you going to give that school the same money?
Well, under the idea of the charter school is the money, our voucher system is the money follows the child, just like it does in a public education system. You're talking about cleaning it up. And again, I'm telling you what we're hearing
I understand,
from
but
all over
if you all
is,
think that our public schools are so bad, then I think you need to start cleaning the public schools up first.
Well, and to that point, when I spoke at the breakfast earlier in the month, Dr. Harper, we had this discussion in a sense, but I said, the problem is not Bartow County schools. I don't have parents calling me and saying, Bartow County schools are terrible, Adairsville High School is the worst thing ever, please give us an alternative. It's not happening in Bartow County. I represent Bartow and Floyd counties, but you sent me there to help deal with state problems.
Right.
When we talk about, I'll let you come back, but we talk about our hope for manufacturing to grow, we want investment in the state, but part of the problem is when companies in Korea or Germany or anywhere else are looking where they're going to relocate, they don't think, well, let's find that good county school system in northwest Georgia where our workers will have kids who get a good education. They say, should we relocate in Georgia? That's where they had the school cheating scandal. That's where they have the county school board that couldn't get accredited and the state government had to take over. So what we're looking at is not a local problem in Bartow County. We're looking at a statewide branding problem,
Right.
if you will.
But if it's statewide, it involves us too.
You're right, and so that's the reason. And here's the other thing. I think our local community, our local school board,